While the eyes of golf fans across the globe were fixed on Hoylake last weekend, it might have gone unnoticed that another championship, played over 18 holes with drivers and putters, was taking place on the British Isles at the same time. It was the 135th Open Championship of Ball Golf this year, but also the 28th edition of the British Open Disc Golf Championship. Before that event took place, we travelled to meet two men that would be taking part to find out more about disc golf. Derek Robbins first played in 1978 when the sport was in its infancy.
The biggest change really is in the equipment, because back in '78 we just had the ordinary plastic discs, the ordinary sort of throw and catch ones that you might have got at the seaside or something. And now we have the fairly high-tech specialist discs, special plastics, much more aerodynamic, and they fly probably almost twice as far as the discs we used back then.
Expatriate American Fernando Brown is a good friend and big rival of Robbins.
It's a lifetime sport. I mean, anybody, from when you can walk, you can pretty much, toss a frisbee. That's essentially what you're doing. So you can go out there, they'll get the whole family involved, take your grandparents as well. It's basically just a walk in the park and, giving you something to do while you're there.
Robbins, an 11-time British champion, owns Quarry Park Disc Golf Course in Leamington Spa, central England. Its 18 holes, or better said baskets, cover 15 acres of land. He purchased the site in 1994 and then landscaped it specifically for disc golf. It's open to the public, and Robbins is on a mission to raise the profile of this sport. We asked him to explain the basics.
Okay, these are the three basic types of disc that we use in disc golf. This one is a driver, which is for maximum distance. I can maybe throw this up to 120 or even 130 metres. This one's an approach disc. Throw this not quite so far, but it's much more easy to control. It has a straighter flight. And this is a putter, which is the straightest of all the discs and the most easy to throw. And I can still throw this maybe up to 70 metres, although I tend to use it for shorter distances than that.
The discs are approximately the same size in diameter, but their varying thicknesses and edges produce different flights.
There's three basics for getting a good throw in disc golf. The first is to start with your feet in the right position. Front foot perpendicular to where you're aiming, back foot pointing slightly away. Then you need to have a weight transfer from your back foot to your front foot and have the disc come through nice and flat. If you do all those things, you should be set for a good round of disc golf.
Called frisbee golf by some, disc golf is the preferred term, as frisbee is actually a registered trademark. Each disc costs about £10, and Robins and Brown will typically carry 15. However, 3 would suit most novices. Just as in ball golf, players start at a tee and aim towards the target. Holes are given a different par, and smaller discs are used to mark where an approach shot has landed. Although the world record distance for a throw is some 250 metres, the longest par 5 holes played would usually be around 150 metres. Going around a full course typically takes about 90 minutes. As you might expect, consideration has been given to the layout of each hole. That presents the player with certain challenges and decisions to make.
Okay, this is hole 6. It's about 80 metres up to the hole. And there's two options for the player here. The first is to play a straight shot right down the middle, and the other option is to play a big right to left curve around the outside of the trees. I think I'll take the straight shot.
The British Open will be a chance to tee off against the continent's best players. Most of them will be coming down to England from Northern Europe.
Well, we've got a lot of Scandinavians, a lot of the top players in Europe coming out here. So, essentially they're coming in our house, and, we're trying not to be shut out and, show them that we've got a real strong player base here as well. So I've been giving them a bit of a run over the season so far. I'm hoping to continue that.
When we met the pair next, they were two of the 120 players at the British Open at Whitcomb Farm in Dorset, south-west England. But both Brown and Robbins find themselves well off the pace. Brown does best, eventually claiming 11th place after 3 rounds of 18 holes. But that's not good enough for a berth in the final round. Instead, it's the Swedes that prove that they're the undisputed kings of European disc golf. All 5 of the final group hail from that Scandinavian country. They compete for the victory over 9 holes, with the final hole, the Gulagong Dip, presenting the course's largest water hazard. Staying out of trouble on the last is good enough for student Christian Sandstrom to claim victory. The challenge for Sandstrom will now be to match the result at the sport's biggest event, the US Disc Golf Championship in October.